Okay. And so now let's hit some of those other people that have been waiting forever. And we're going to go, this is an interesting name. This is Siampson in Iran. Did I just butcher your name?
Siampson.
What is it?
Siampson. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
It is my pseudonym. It is not my real name.
That's
not
fine.
We understand.
You don't have to give a real name. You're fine.
No, I'm Iranian. I'm living in Germany, Bonn, for better off of the last 5 years. And first of all, hi Tracie, hi Dan. Sorry.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good.
We're good.
What is on your mind today, Siampson?
First of all, I want to thank you. Thank you very much. And I appreciate your work. I learned a lot from you all, as I think you say in Texas.
Yes.
And I could put a lot I had in my mind into perspective. Last 3 years, I'm watching lots of your videos online, YouTube, every time. So
Aww.
I appreciate your work, and thank you very much for your hard work. I know it is free work, and I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you.
And I want to, I hope, Tracie, you go to hell because of introducing the God is not dead to me, because that ruined 1.5 hours of my life.
Right.
Wait, is he going to be there too?
Are you going to be there too?
Will you be in hell with us?
We're going for the company, right?
Of course, if you are there.
Oh, okay. Good, good.
Going there, I'm coming, sure.
Good. No, that's great.
Okay.
We can have lunch.
Yeah.
I hear they have a mean lava cake.
That was really worst. I think worst 1.5 hour of my time.
Okay.
So I want if you would have enough time, I take a couple of minutes about my journey of life, my last 40 years of life, going through the
Sure, if you can make it quick.
And yes, I tried a few minutes just telling you guys that I was born in Iran right after so-called quote-unquote Islamic Revolution.
Wow.
Back in the 70s, then, huh?
Yeah. I was born in 80s, right? 79 was the revolution, and I was born in 80. And, I myself wasn't from very religious family, so my first family, my parents or very close families weren't really religious. My grandparents were, and actually they weren't very fundamental. They taught me very of the riches, how to read Quran, how to pray, do all of this, but I really never appealed to me. So I know all of these rituals, fasting, voodoo, praying. It is much harder, I think, in Islam than in Christianity. The rituals,
right?
I guess I'm not really sure. But after I started, but I was questioning all these things. Why people are doing this? Why? What is the point of praying or all this stuff? I think I was always a skeptic and critical thinker. But then I started schooling. Then it was government was everywhere in the school, in the books. So in the whole school, nobody teaches anything about evolution. Nobody talks. Evolution is no. Still, I think it is. They are not teaching evolution in the schools. Maybe in universities, if you are going to do some medical studies or biological major, maybe. But in schools, that's a big no. So we actually had to live 2 lives. One of them was at home, that we will talk about all stuff that nobody lives at home, people drinking and everything, but the whole other life when we were in public, mostly because you shouldn't talk about these kind of things. Then it was really hard time for a kid, you can assume. how the mental pressure is for a kid, any kid,
Yeah.
not me myself, any kid that is in that situation.
I'm actually amazed that you never, that the indoctrination never took, that you went through all of this in such an intense situation with your society and your family and all of that, and that throughout this, even as a young child, this somehow never got into your head. I'm amazed at that, and I'm like happy for you, but at the same time, what a difficult thing to be living in that
what
place.
a challenging
Yeah.
childhood.
Yeah, I can say you're right, but I don't know. I should thank you, I guess. I guess God made me this way, I guess.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Are you now that you're sort of in a relatively free country? Are you being more outspoken as an atheist, or are you?
I'm going to go to that part very soon.
Okay.
I'm
But, I mean,
bringing all this up to tell you what is the situation now in Germany.
Yeah, and you
Please.
probably have like some family considerations and things. I mean, it's not like you can just come out, right? I mean,
no, it is. I was really big mouth. Even if when I was in Iran, and even if when I was in school, I was a big mouth. I was speaking, discussing with people.
So,
I'm really personally amazed when I look back. I'm personally amazed that I never got into any trouble.
well, I'm glad you didn't get into any trouble. I'm really happy for you.
Yes.
Because some people do.
But it is honestly nothing happened. I had never any trouble. I got
Good.
a discussion. I always thinking that, I in university I was discussing with one of these fundamental religions about women's rights and how Islam is unfair to women.
Yeah.
And I asked this guy why. For example, why women cannot have any high rank in government or religion, or in Iran, for example, they cannot be imams, they cannot be even judges, they cannot be judged. They can be lawyers, they can study and be a very good lawyer, but they cannot be judges. So I asked why. The answer was very amazing, at the same time very simple. And I couldn't answer. I don't know. I didn't have anything to answer. He told me, you can have only the high ranking when you are closer to God, and you can be only closer to God when you pray.
yeah, that's painful. Ouch. I'm sorry.
And if let me put it, and because when you are a woman, 25% of your time you cannot pray and do the rituals due to PMSing.
Oh yes,
So-
you're unclean.
you're
and you cannot
Women
enter.
consider
Right.
unclean. Women consider unclean, and they cannot do the rituals. So they cannot actually do the praying. So they cannot.
So they're effectively
be close to God.
defective.
So they cannot be judges or imams or whatever.
Yeah.
Got it.
Actually blew my mind. But what can I answer to this?
You can't.
It's very sad.
You can't. I mean, there's a certain point where you just have to say there is no. I mean, once somebody believes that, and they're really willing to argue that with a straight face, I don't know that there really is much impact that you can have.
He completely believed that.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
Yeah.
I knew I was studying with this person. We were studying engineering, so he was a bright guy, and he wasn't dishonest. He was honest. He was honest person, but he was what he believed, and this is the brainwashing that you're talking about.
Yes.
And so I had all after that. The only thing that I was thinking, I need to be in a place that I can talk to people.
Yes.
That's why
Wouldn't that be nice?
I always
Have some sane people around
try-
you. Yes.
Yeah, some people that at least, it's a secular society that at least I can talk. Here, for example, in Germany, I can talk to neighbor, friend, whatever. There may be Christians. I can talk about what is in Bible, in which I credit all of them to you guys, because about Bible I knew nothing before I get to know about you guys. So, but I blew them. That's really.
We're sorry for wasting more of your time.
I want to thank you. I want to thank you so much for your call, because we so infrequently hear from Muslims or ex-Muslims. So your call was very welcome, and I hope you'll call in again if you have other insights.
We are running low on time, though.
And also, please.
I just put my question in. Maybe you can.
Yeah, is there a question? Go for it.
Yeah, there is a question. So my problem here in Germany and in general, even in your blogs and Facebook discussion group, is that I see the same type of, let's call it prejudice, maybe, if it is the right word for it, that people believe in something and they don't want that to be questioned. And I believe that's against what we are standing.
Yeah, welcome to being human. Many people don't like to be challenged, and it's not just religious people, right? So, I mean, an atheist, I think Matt sometimes says that you've come to the right conclusion about the simplest question that you could possibly be asked, or something, along those lines. Being an atheist does not necessarily make a person a skeptic. Right? I even hesitate to call myself a skeptic sometimes, because I'm not sure that that I'm really thoroughly good at sometimes analyzing things the way I should. So I definitely have to be careful and watch, to see if I'm feeling defensive, because that's always a sign that you might be having some kind of bias or some sort of a uncomfortable disconnect with something you believe. And so and I definitely see other people who have that same negative reaction. Obviously, the goal should be to be willing to pay attention to criticism and to be willing to accept any legitimate or honest challenges, right? I mean, obviously, you don't want to waste time listening to every single thing that could come at you, because some of it's going to be ridiculous. But for those criticisms that are valid and that people are putting to you to say, where are you getting this, or why do you believe this? I think it's fair for us to examine ourselves on occasion, and sometimes that can be difficult to different people for different reasons.
Let me add that religious beliefs are kind of in a special category there, not because they need to be protected, but because people so identify with their religious upbringing and identity that questioning those beliefs feels like a personal challenge and feels like a threat of their very own identity. And so a lot of folks will react in such a way that, oh my goodness, you can't even have this conversation. And those are actually the beliefs that you really need to challenge, or really need to look at, is those core beliefs, because those are the ones that influence so much of what you think and do, that they really deserve some scrutiny.
But I think you're right.
But my point, sorry, Tracie, my point is that if we cannot be open ourselves as an atheist community, if we cannot listen to the other in our community when they think something is going wrong, some behavior is wrong, because I'm a firm believer that bad defending is worse than attacking. So if you are defending your whatever you are believing, even evolution, that I assume most of us at least believe in that. I don't want to put everyone in that category. But if we should hear when there is other explanation about it, something is wrong, we should listen, not just dismiss it, because now you are bringing that point out. So it must be wrong. You are wrong, you are against it, you are just troll or whatever, because you said something against evolution. Or I'm totally on board with evolution.
Yeah, I mean, there are some things that are fairly well demonstrated, though. I mean, I do think that it would be, helpful to hear what somebody's issues are with it, maybe to help them along. But when it comes to a certain point, I mean, something like evolution, what you're dealing with is a very, very well-vetted idea that is observable.
I think he's talking more in the abstract.
In the point.
Yes.
If you want, I can go to the specific what happened in.
Well, no, I don't think so. People are human, and we all have our sort of failings. And I think that in a situation like that, it helps to take a step back and say, hey, I'm proposing an idea and you're shooting it down. Let's talk about how we arrive at a good solution. Some people cannot be reasoned with, even if they're atheists. It's just part of the deal. The internet's a messy place. A lot of
Sure.
terrible things happen. Stay out of the comments section of YouTube because you're not going to get any progress there. Yeah, and you're right, though. We as atheists should strive for being able to have our own ideas criticized and have an honest adult dialogue with that, but we fell short sometimes.
Sure. Thank you very much for your time.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Take care. Have a nice.
We hope to hear
too.
from you later. Put her on hold.
And have a nice dinner.
Hold.
Oh, okay. I'm putting you on hold.